we're here for the top 16 of the pack 17K. Sorry, 1700 1.7K event. This will be our opponent. They will be on the play. And yeah, we'll just do our best. That's all we can do. We fight against what appears to be not your standard green list. They don't have quite as many 1-drops that are uninkable. Like they only have like 12 uninkables. This is more like a fully Amethyst deck that also happens to include like the Ursula package, the make them discard a card package, and then like Mother Knows Best. But we'll see. We'll see how we do here. So let me double check here. Rounds should be up. Weird. Okay, I'm just double checking to make sure that we are good to start here. I'm not sure. This list is different than what a lot of the previous green-purple decks were. This is a lot more just raw Amethyst. That also happens to include some of the green stuff. Like they're not running any real depth on songs compared to some of them, and the majority of this list is just the purple cards, right? So it just depends on how bad a normal purple aggro deck would be for this. And I have shaved some of the things that would make this matchup a little easier. And we're on the draw because we are 16th seed, so we are always on the draw. So that is not ideal either. But we'll see. Like the way that it can play out. Obviously, this list also doesn't run something like the Maleficent 1 either, which helps a little bit. But I mean, you look at their list and you look at our list, and we're running almost all the same cards. You know, we have 4 of these, 2 of these. We have 4 of this, 4 of this, 4 of this, 3 of this. We have 2 crabs. So this is sort of an aggro deck, but it's like an aggro tempo deck because they have Mother Knows Best and Cloud Kicker, so we have to be aware of that. But they also have like some really crappy draws. Even though the deck looks to be relatively consistent, if they just draw a lot of like this, as long as you interact with and deal with these cards and then still have enough draw to keep up, it's fine. If they don't rip their friends on the other side plus their Ursula, like then they have to rely on their Rabbit engine as their only real draw as well, which admittedly is better than we have for draw still because we don't even have the Ursula as an option. But we'll see. It's probably not an amazing matchup, but you never really truly know how it's going to shake out. And the spellbooks are probably not at their best in this matchup either, mostly because we kind of have to answer what our opponent is doing every turn rather than not doing that. It really depends on if the Mother Knows Bests, like the bounce portion, bullies us a lot or not, and if this card does anything. Because this card is a huge waste of time for our opponent, right? Because it's one of their worst 2-drops. I mean, they don't really have that many 2-drops, right? Their curve is like some 2-drops and then like infinite 3-drops and 4-drops. Because it's the Ursulas, the one Pinocchio, the Snakes, and then the Flynn Riders, right? I think that's all of them. Discuss 4, 3, 3, 4, 3, 4, 6. Yeah, so it's mostly just a bunch of junk at 2, like 1 and 2. Because 1 is like a bunch of these dorks. And then 2, so it's just a ton of 3-drops. I'm asking some questions to clarify, but they want us to start in just a couple minutes, 1 or 2 here. Because for whatever reason the chat isn't working. I would assume that they want us to do just table 1 again, but I don't know. They have not indicated still. Well, whatever. I'm sure that we'll figure it out in a minute or 2 here. So here's what we're playing. We'll go over all the lists if we have some downtime. I mean, if we just get boomed out of the first round, we may look at them, but if we manage to get past the first round, then we probably will have a bit more time to take a look at them. Let's see, it has refreshed. We still don't have chat, I assume. Yeah, there's something weird with the actual chat in single limb. It's just like scuffed a little bit. Okay, well, nobody said anything, so I guess we'll just use the generated code. It's fine. Alright. So we'll be jumping into our game here in about 2 minutes. That's when they want us to start. I'm just going to jump into the queue, may as well. My opponent will be on the play. My opponent has the choice all day, basically. So it is pretty likely that they're going to be on the play. This is pretty slow. So I'd like to get a little bit of a faster hand if possible. I'm going to get rid of these 3, I think. We're going to keep 1 rabbit. And we'll just have all snakes all day long. That's not great. Into Curse Merfolk. But it is what it is, I suppose. I assume that this is going to get us for like 8, given our hand, so that's not good. So you might wonder why I inked Teeth and Ambitions. Or, sorry, why I mulliganed Teeth and Ambitions. There's 2 reasons. One is Ursula the Deceiver here. Because if we get rid of Teeth and Ambitions, then we can potentially draw it later to answer cards. But it is not something that we necessarily need to be doing, right? And 2... they don't have a ton of targets that are incredible in this matchup, especially when we're on the draw, until later. They play an Ursula, which is a disaster. Guess we gotta get rid of the goat. Alright, your turn. Okay, draw 4 cards. Sick. So they're gonna go to 8. Mother Knows Best is probably their best play, honestly. Because unless we rip a 1-drop, we really have no way of participating in the game anymore. Just adding additional cards is also respectable here. We're going to have to clean up as much of this as we can in a single turn. We're probably in a position where we have to just take out the Ursula and the Cursed Merfolk. And then lead into Maui, probably. So we're going to have to use this Fox here. Yeah, it's not looking great, if I'm honest. But we'll take out the Ursula. We'll Fox this. And then I guess we'll buff this and we'll just blast the Cursed Merfolk here. Getting rid of a rabbit. Yeah, I guess a rabbit. I don't really love that, but I don't see how we have time to cast these rabbits. Like, our next several turns are pretty dictated anyway. We're going to have to play out the Maui, and then we're going to have to play out the Medusa. Like, I don't really think I have much of a choice for a lot of these. Until we are even remotely stable. Our opponent having 6 cards means that it's hard for us to be stable. They likely are going to play Crab here and kill the Fox. Have 2 cards. Or still have these 2 and maybe develop another 1-drop. The way that this match, based on how their deck list looks, the way that this will play out a lot is they just sort of flood the board with stuff every turn, especially on the play, while they're inking, and then they try to bully us that way. They likely have Castle here then, because they know that we have to sort of attack their characters. But I could be wrong about that. Kobaya and Dad, appreciate the follows. So hopefully they don't play a good 2-drop. I mean, Pinocchio's not at its best here anyway. So we'll play this. And we'll attack. This is the tournament. We play our Maui. Unfortunately, we did not have a 1-drop this game, so our opponent got to gain 8 lore or so before we could really put any cards on the board. which we know this. We know that about this matchup, that it is really bad for us if our opponent is able to go first and we don't have a 1-drop, but I mulliganed as conservatively as I could while still mulliganing a lot of cards, and we just drew a lot of snakes and not a lot of other action. If we have 1-drop to keep up, 1-drop into snake, we actually have a decent draw, but without the 1-drop, it's pretty rough. That's why we originally went up to 9 1-drops. So they Fox. I assume that they quest with both of these, replay the Sorceress. Yep. The problem still being that we are just a bit too far behind here. Like, we can just never cast these. They Fox here. Replay it, kill the Medusa. That's pretty rough. I know that they only have 1 Pinocchio. Let's just kill the Pinocchio. We're looking pretty dead game 1 here, unfortunately. So we're gonna have to hope that game 2 is a little bit better. You can't really play this matchup and just do nothing until your opponent has a full board of shit and then hope to win. Like, it just doesn't work. And that's really what we did here. Oh, we're just dead on board. We'll just concede. This doesn't matter. Okay. That's game 1. An expected outcome, unfortunately. Didn't have a 1-drop. I don't know, maybe I'm supposed to mulligan even more. Maybe the rabbit just isn't a necessary card here. Because it's too slow. I think the mini is good in this matchup. I don't know if I need this many goats. I'm gonna mulligan these 3. The Fox is good, the Be Prepared is decidedly not good here. I am gonna run out the 1-drop turn 1 though. And we'll just be sad if our opponent plays a Rafiki instead of anything else. Hope we rip a snake, I guess. They have a lot of 1-drops that the Minnie Mouse is good against. Fiki not being one of them, obviously. I don't think Goat is actually bad in this matchup, necessarily. But I have to do something. I'd like to play this Rafiki, basically. I'm going to do this and pass. So, our worst case scenario here is that they have exactly their 1 Pinocchio. And then they decide to kill this Rafiki, because we currently are just not threatening it at all. We're just on a 6-card hand. This just wasn't our tournament. Fucking brutal. I don't even know what to say. It's fucking rough. Yeah, 6-card hand. Perhaps I wasn't supposed to mulligan the other Inkable, like the goat, just so we have less of this bullshit. We could Pinocchio here. I feel like I'd rather wait until next turn to Pinocchio. Like an actual Ursula. Luckily, they're not on a particularly fast clock, so that helps. But if they play actual factual Ursula, I'm going to trade this Rafiki with it, I think. With this Pinocchio. Like so, and then we'll ink the Minnie Mouse, always classy. I don't quest here because Fox is pretty rough. We like just don't have a clock at all. I'm likely going to have to bounce this Sorceress and replay it. Yeah, so they do have a Fox here. Which is the reason that we didn't quest to begin with there. Castle is currently not good. But there are some spots that it could be. We could kill this Rafiki as well with our Fox. We'd like bounce the Pinocchio, get the Rafiki. We'd have to get rid of the goat. I weirdly don't actually hate it. Because of how strong this castle, I think, will be if our opponent just doesn't have a lot of power. Like if they trade their Fox into our Fox, then this castle will be really good. But we'll see what they play this turn. Because honestly, if I can trade Maleficent and the Pinocchio into this Fox, that could be good enough to make this castle work. Especially if they play out another Fox. They play out another Rafiki. So this card is bad then. Let's lead on the Sorceress. Teeth and Ambition. We can... We don't actually have to Teeth this. We could Teeth the Rafiki and then kill this. And that'll leave him with just a Cursed Merfolk, which will be bad next turn. I don't really love this line, but so they've already used 2 of their Foxes. So this Cursed Merfolk is not really presenting a terrible threat to us. But if our opponent just rips a Yzma and plays it, like, that's really bad for us. So they're just looking to tuck their Cursed Merfolk into their castle. Let's do this and then quest with this one. So I guess we'll do castle stuff for now. Our opponent gets the action because they played their castle first. And we couldn't really challenge it much. Maybe just attacking it for 3 was smarter there. Because, like, we're just not... Like, if they just play Cloud Kicker, we're just not in a great position here anyway. Like, we can threaten the castle next turn pretty well if we rip. I mean, we have to rip pretty well. It has to exactly be Maui or Fox, and we're down a Fox. I don't know, we'll see. This game could certainly be going worse, but it could also be going a lot better. If they just play their Merfolk again and then put it in the castle, and that's their whole turn, we at least get to draw some cards. Extra card. They're thinking about ink, I suppose. Snake. And a Medusa. Yeah, I think I should have attacked this for 2 last turn. With the Maleficent. Can use the Medusa to kill the snake. Let them go to 10. Hit this for 3. Leave them with just the Cursed Merfolk, and then 4 cards. And then we have a 4/4 plus these back. Normally I would hit the Cursed Merfolk here, but I think just getting the power off the board is more important. And I do think that hitting this is better. Because it also gives us an out of Crab, and now Maui just kills this as well. Maybe that's just totally wrong, and we just have to try and race, because we'd go to 7. We're just not even winning the race at all. I just don't think I can do it that way. Like, they got to use the castle's ability much better than we have so far. You can literally play Cloud Kicker, bounce the Maleficent, and then we don't even get to draw a card too. We obviously would get to draw it if we replay this, but we just don't have the ink to be doing that kind of shit. They snake again. Play another castle. Replay their Merfolk. Well, it's Maui or bust here. Fucking neither of those are Maui, so... It's going to be a really close game. If I Medusa here... Play Goat. Put the Medusa and the Goat into the castle. And then just quest with both of these. They gain 2, 4, 5, they go to 15. We have a pretty sizable board that can challenge what they have on board the turn following. And that might be enough. Diabolical Intent, appreciate the follow. They would need Fox to be able to kill our castle. I think if they quest with everything in this spot, we just have to kill everything. Which we can do. Another snake would be pretty annoying. Not drawing these 3 extra cards would be fucking obnoxious, right? But I don't know what they have in their hand. We'll see. They have 4 that they can play with. This play only really works because they weren't able to put anything in the castle last turn. Okay, are they looking to trade with something on the snake or just go to 15? Okay, that makes the most sense to me. They ink Yzma, and then they decide to put the rabbit in the castle. Okay. So we would really need to draw something that can answer a card that's on their board. We can just also draw nothing. That's cool too. 1, 2, 3. That puts us to 15. 16, 17. It's just not enough. Okay. I think I always have to kill the Curse Merfolk here. I don't think that's really a choice. And we just don't have time for all these rabbits. And I think I always have to kill the castle here instead of killing the snake. I also don't think that that's a choice. I don't think I can quest here either. I just have to kill the castle. Because A, we can't let them draw an extra card. And B, it just doesn't make any sense to do anything else. Here, I'm just debating what I do. Crab lets them kill our castle. So putting another thing in there doesn't really make sense to me. If I play Rafiki, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, like, technically I can kill them with the spellbook if I just play Rafiki instead of inking it. if they don't attack any of our stuff, which seems pretty unlikely that they wouldn't attack into our things. I can also just play a spellbook instead. I'm just going to do it like this. I don't think that the spellbook is going to be relevant in the same way that this Rafiki can. Because I may not be able to win on my turn. Like, they have the ability to very comfortably stop it with the cards that they have. Even if they just kill, you know, Pinocchio and whatever, kill the castle if they have a crab, etc. And I may need to use this Rafiki to, like, kill something on the board. And then we can try to use the following turn to win instead. The alternative is that we ink the Rafiki and we just play a spellbook, but we can't activate it. And it also means that we don't put the rabbit into the inkwell either. Or, sorry, into the Queen's Castle. Which I don't necessarily think is great. They have to be on the defensive here, I think. Which I don't even really know if is good or bad for us, but if they brick on their few cards here, then we maybe have an outside shot because of this castle. 15... And they ink Ursula, because it's not very good here. Okay, so I think we've got them this game, most likely. This is 1, 2, 3, and then I just be prepared. I think makes the most sense, because they go to 16 then. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, so we should be good this game. And then we'll go to game 3. Which, we're on the draw, but we had not so stellar draws in our first game anyway. So we'll have to see how the last game looks. On the draw again. We have Rafikis, which are generally pretty good. We don't have any draw. This can be ink. Right, but if we don't draw ink, then that doesn't work either. Like you have to still draw ink in that line. I'm gonna send these two back, I think. So that gives us some early stuff, crab. We're gonna try this. Okay, Snake is actually quite good in this match. So is the Fox. So they play out Rafiki on 1. Still dodging Pinocchio forever, but I think I have to play the Rafiki anyway. And if our opponent Pinocchio's us, then it's just really bad. They didn't, but if they run out Snake, then that's fine. There's even a universe where I don't play the Snake. And I just play another Rafiki. Like we just hold the Snake. I think it's actually fine. Let's do this. So what we need to do is hope that they don't have specifically Ursula plus Pinocchio here. Sorry, Ursula leading into draw 4, because we don't have Pinocchio. If this is their play this turn, I think that's okay for us. Because we can ink the Always Classy, play the crab, add more to the board, and then just pass. And while they've gained some ink, they haven't really gotten a substantial board presence, which is typically good for us. And if we can trade 1-drops for 3-drops in this matchup, and then develop Rabbit, I think that will be good enough. So far, this is looking okay. They had to ink Castle, because Castle's obviously really terrible here. I ink a Rafiki so we can play the Rabbit. We actually get to play Rabbit this game, which is very good. We'll Rafiki this. Do I quest with this crab? I don't think that I have to. I'm not really the aggressor in this matchup. We are more the defensive player. And I don't really want them being able to, because I know that they have 3 crabs, because we have their deck list. So I don't want them to be able to trade up with crab into any of our things for no reason, especially some of our better cards. So this is actually good for us, because it makes their Ursulas a little bit worse. Every time that they use the Friends on the other side, Friends is really the only really super great card that they have with Ursula to sing. I may play out the Maui next turn, or I'll do the Medusa and save the Maui. We'll see what they play. So they do run out an Ursula, unfortunately for us. Does this change things for me? I'd still like to kill both of these, I think. We don't necessarily need Maui in this matchup, right? It's okay. We are leading into this Medusa. I'm just debating if this Queen's Castle is good enough to play here. Or if I should just be drawing some extra cards with this and setting up for, like, Medusa-ing this stuff. Because I'm fine discarding a card. Let's do this. We're just going to hit this Maleficent Sorceress. I'm going to bounce out Fox. I still have to ink. I should have done this a little differently. No, I guess because I needed to draw the card here. I could have used this Rafiki to ink the Rafiki instead. I'm going to hit here, because we have to ink as well. I think maybe I do ink the Queen's Castle, or one of the snakes. And the Maui. Yeah, let's ink a snake. And the Maui. And then let's quest here and replace it with a snake, question mark. Just have another 3/3 on board. Yeah, let's do that and pass. So this gives us two things. Obviously, it puts another 3/3 on board, which is decent in this matchup. But it also gives us this as ink that's guaranteed and lets us keep the castle for now. And then our opponent has Ursula, but if they don't have the draw, like because two of their friends are already gone, they may not even have a great target to sing with here. We'll see if they do or not. So they have Mother Knows Best, so they can bounce two things, which is a good tempo play, certainly. But it isn't necessarily that big of a problem for us here. I think it feels better than it is because it bounces two things, but I don't necessarily think that it's a huge problem for us. So we can kill Ursula, and we can Medusa the Flynn Rider. And we can also just attack it too. I think I am inking the Rafiki. I mean, I would kill this way. We'd lose a card. So I guess it is still better to do this way and then get the Medusa into play. I'm going to leave their 3/3. Because it doesn't actually matter that much in this spot compared to what it did before. But I think we do it this way. And then next turn we have the ability to do Rabbit plus Fox if we need. To be able to get some more cards, but we can also just play Maui. So another castle gone. I haven't really been paying attention to see if they have any crabs left. But if our opponent at any point attacks this Mim, I think we're in a great position then. Yeah, this is a good spot for us. If they just have to play Cloud Kicker, it means their hand is really bad. Which is good for us, of course. I don't even necessarily need to draw that many cards here. Thanks, Vortex. I'm going to hold off on the Queen's Castle for right now. I don't think this is the castle turn. I think it's actually developed two cards, because they don't have that much removal in their deck in general. Like, we don't need to bounce the Rabbit this turn. I think it's just play two things and then pass. So, the castle on its own is fine, but what I would rather do is have castle plus a bunch of things. We really only had the ability to play, like, castle, put nothing in it, which is awkward, right? I would rather do castle and then put three things in there to make them have to bend over backwards to kill it. Because I think that is a stronger line of play. If they have Mother Knows Best, they're probably looking to maybe use it on a crab. Okay, so they Yzma, which does make the castle last turn a little bit better, certainly. But I can still make them have to bend over backwards to deal with the castle now, which I think is our plan. think we ink here. I'm gonna crab this. No, I'm gonna Yzma this. Then I'm going to play the Queen's Castle. Put all of this in it and pass. And then our opponent does have a lot of cards. But if they quested this and it still is... and we're able to draw a bunch of cards here, I think we'll be in a good spot. Even though they'll be at 12. Obviously, they can still have Crab plus Fox here, which would be bad. They ink Ursula, which makes sense, and then they play a Goat. So we likely need to draw Be Prepared this turn, which we did. We also drew a bunch of other cards. So let's evaluate our options. I could Maui this and just like do stuff. If I Be Prepared, I don't really have my board. Is there a better way for me to do it? I can leave them with just Goat and then still keep my entire board, basically. Is that better? Because I can play Maui, hit here. I can just attack one of these. I guess they'd still have the rabbit too, which is pretty bad. Perhaps I draw some cards first before I make my decision. Okay, so that actually does help a little bit. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink the Medusa. We're going to keep the Teeth and Ambitions. We are going to ink Yzma. We're going to play the snake on this Medusa, so that we have Medusa in hand. And then we're going to cast Be Prepared. And then I'm going to pass. So we didn't actually need this Maui, necessarily. So we pass. So now we have Medusa in hand, and we have Teeth and Ambitions, so we can kill two things. We're not in a great position. If our opponent just has 3 goats in hand, we lose. Guess we lose. Nothing I can do. Literally just dead. Man. Maybe they were right. Maybe the turn where... We let them play the Yzma. That was the turn where we Queen's Castle. I don't even remember what I did that turn. Like, we drew cards, maybe? That maybe was just the... Yeah, that was when we played Crab and Rabbit. Maybe that was just the Queen's Castle turn. Because now, like, no matter what I do, it's not enough to beat the goat. And is there anything else that I have in here? I mean, I can't even draw any cards. I'm just trying to think if there's a way that I can race it if they don't have another bounce, because they've already used quite a few. Oh, no, they haven't. They've used 3. So I guess they haven't really used a lot of bounce anyway. Yeah, I think I played this game wrong then. That's a shame. That's a shame. This was an expensive match to lose to a misplay. I think we played a little too conservatively here, and we're just losing to them drawing enough cards to kill us with Goat. Man. We also died with a fox in our hand, which is really stupid. I mean, it's not a really great run. This is dog shit. This result is not good. These Teeth and Ambitions were fucking trash, and they shouldn't have been in my deck at all for any reason. Fuck. There's no reason I shouldn't have played the castle there. They literally played a naked Cloud Kicker, so their hand was bad. I should have been looking at their deck list. Like, I did nothing. All I was doing was nothing. I was controlling the board with no control cards. And I put literally no pressure, so they got to draw for 1,000 years and then kill us. Well, that's the event, I guess. The... Top 16 is irrelevant. Like, I just don't care about not first. I get nothing for top 16. Actual nothing is worth literal 0. Except that it also took up my Saturday and Sunday, right? My expected result is much higher than this. My elo goes down every time that I participate in these tournaments, not up. Like, nothing about this result is good. Especially considering that my play was bad, which is worse for me. Because I would rather play well and lose than play badly and lose. Because then what was the point of playing if I'm playing badly? Like, if I go back, which was game 3 even, here, if I go back here, it is obvious what I should do. Game 3 wasn't rough. I'm bad. It's absolutely the fucking castle turn. You were right by such a degree that it's ridiculous. Yes, no shit, it was a mistake. Which makes it bad fucking play. Like, in this position, with our opponent playing a literal 3-cost 2-2 with no abilities, I should have known that they had Yzma here. I should have had their deck list up, and I didn't. The only cards that they could have here that are worse than Cloud Kicker are Yzma, because they can't cast it, or Bounce, which is terrible here. So their hand is either Mother Knows Best, just only Cloud Kickers, or Yzma. Those are the only cards that they can have in their hand at this point. Or a Castle, right? We have answers to Castle no matter what we play here. No matter what card I play in this spot, no matter what card I ink, we have an answer to Castle. So what the play should have been is ink Maui, play Castle, put these 2 in the Castle. Even if my opponent just plays Crab and kills our Castle, that doesn't really help them, because then all of this is tapped. We've still developed a 1-3 and a 4-4. We can Crab and kill back, and then, or we can Fox and kill back. Like, this Fox rotted in our hand the rest of the game because of the play that I made here. Playing the Crab was so dog shit this turn, I just am going to stop playing red-purple. Because I clearly don't understand how to play it. It literally does nothing. It could have just been draw 2 cards, and I think that would have been a better play. I do not need this Maui. They've already inked 2 castles at this point. And I have Crab plus Fox, which can also kill Castle. Like, I just fucking don't need this Maui. At all. What a fucking throw. What a fucking throw. Because, like, I play Castle, put 2 things in it, then the Yzma turn is dog shit. The best that they're able to get out of it is draw 2 cards. That's their whole turn. We draw 3 when we untap. And we gain 2 lore. That puts us at almost even, and then... Fuck, dude. What an actual fucking shitter I am. Unbelievable. Like, it's literally so obvious. It is so fucking obvious. And I'm pretty sure that I just, like, snap ink the 1-drop to play just 2 fucking idiots to the board with no way of interacting with what my opponent is doing. Because, like, our rabbits were full of nothing. It's like, in my mind, I want to save this fox for this Medusa, but this just doesn't set us up to do anything. We do nothing here. What do I need this fucking Maui for? Like, what does this Maui do? It does nothing. It literally just is useless here. Because we don't have any Pinocchios, we have nothing to interact with our opponent's board. We don't even quest with our 4/4, which is also just stupid. Like, everything about my play was scared of a non-existent crab, so then we just lose to our opponent drawing a bunch of cards. I'm surprised that they shuffled back in Cloud Kicker and not the rabbit. Even. And it just doesn't matter. Nothing that we did there was good. It was all trash. Because now we play Castle, but they are at 12 instead of 6. Ugh, I'm fucking embarrassed. What a goddamn display we have done. Holy shit. Well, whatever. We didn't want to win today, I guess. So we definitely threw that game in the garbage. We are not guaranteed to win if we play out the Castle there. But we were certainly not going to win by the play that we made. That was just fucking trash. Holy shit, that was bad. Alright, well, thanks for watching.